Hello, everybody, and welcome here to Daytona International Speedway here for the Crown Jewel Sportsman Legacy Truck Series brought to you by TH Designs. Once again, here for the Daytona 250. Starting off your Legacy Sportsman Truck Series season here. Obviously, we came here last week to start off your series at Charlotte, as we saw a photo finish between Nathan Jump and Corey Mott, your league owner, duke it out by and Nathan Jump only winning by 13/100ths of a second. But hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here at beautiful Daytona International Speedway. You know, look at what's going on here. We'll take a look at some of your drivers that are still out on track. Hudson Sangster, you know, a former winner in the Truck Series, the VRS Truck Series, not the Sportsman Truck Series. Completely different vehicle, completely different everything, really, for that. But you see him out on track right now, running his first laps, actually. This will be his first completed lap time around here on number 903 machine. See above right there. A little under 7 minutes left in practice, so we'll give these guys enough time to figure out what they want to do, what they want to do, what they don't want to do. Obviously, it's Daytona, right? It's not like it's a hard track to run on. It's not like it's really a skill-based track. See a little bit of a mosh pit in the grass there. You see some drivers going at it right there. We'll take a look. Cody Simmons, new to the league in his number 911 machine, a 911 machine, whatever you want to call it. His John Deere machine. Going out there. Currently P7 in practice. Let's take a ride on board with this number 911 machine. I guess I forgot to mention too, we are at the Legacy Daytona International Speedway, so this is something completely different than the smooth surface you're going to see, you know, in real life and in the modern NASCAR. You see, look how bumpy this track is. You can just see the car bouncing up and down and trying to do stuff, and making it super hard to drive, right? You know, it's a Legacy Series, Legacy track. I think it's the best that they use this track. I think it's a really good idea, honestly. We can actually do something for you guys real quick. We're gonna blow up your thumbnail. We'll actually try to turn up the shake here in the studio so you guys can really see what these drivers are going through. We're back on board with this in the machine. And just look how bumpy this track is. I mean, you just see it. So abrasive, so tearing on the car. It's so demanding. I mean, you see the bumps going up and down. And I don't know if you'll see Cody come down and run this bottom down here in 3 and 4. But the bumps down below are super abrasive, super bumpy. And it really does hurt the truck a lot. See him run the top once again. Maybe trying to do a quali lap here. But we can ride on board with another driver maybe later in this practice session. But obviously with the season opener, and it's going to be a big opportunity for some of these new drivers. Obviously, we didn't get as many people out there for that recruitment race or the preseason race, whatever you want to call it, at Charlotte. But these trucks showed it right there with a good setup and with a good set of drivers there. They still put on a phenomenal race and a really entertaining race where with only like, I would say 11 trucks that were really competitive out there and on the track throughout the whole race. They still put on a great race. We talked about it earlier in the pre-race that, you know, Nathan Jump won by 12 100ths of a second over Corey Mott, and it was definitely an exciting race to call. It's definitely, just as a viewer, just like you guys, definitely really cool to see. Speaking of Corey Mott, you see him down here and pit side, just probably just waiting on this practice to go up and smoke. You see Corey P2 and practice, so already coming out strong here at Daytona. Nathan Higginbottom in this Dynaco machine. We saw him run pretty well last week. Showed some decent pace and then kind of fell off as the race went on. But that happens. Some people get a feel for the truck and can improve their skill throughout the race. Some people just kind of load in and whatever they got, they've got. I feel like that was a big case for Hayden. But right now, Hayden P5 and practice. Obviously, practice times and everything else isn't a big deal for when it comes to running times. Obviously, it's a super split. Some of these times are probably going to be a little bit different compared. Right now, your best time right now is a 47.4, and the spread is all the way down to a 50.8. So that's just comparing, probably a lap in draft versus a lap not in draft. You see Ted Lisby, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm back there in 18th with a 50.8. It's, oh my god, a horrific wreck here going into 1 and 2. Wow. What a collision. Joe Gibbons in this 8. We saw him run pretty well. Porsche got caught up in a wreck during that preseason race. Unfortunate for him. I mean, he really did show to have probably the second best short run pace. I mean, long run pace, my apologies, in the field. And unfortunately, Joe got caught up in a wreck and was unable to finish. It's something that can happen. See the paint refresh here, making sure everybody has their nice looking truck painted up and stuff. Ryan Taft here in this number 6 machine, and a little bit of a 3-car tandem, and these guys will actually show you maybe how difficult and how easy, I would say more difficult, it is to get around here and how to tandem and how to push here, because these trucks are a lot more sketchy. It's a lot more difficult to get hooked up and get pushes. You see Ryan, if he's not completely comfortable getting hooked up, you actually see him lift to get out of it. The 12, oh, worst time to cut to a different camera. You see the 6 machine go around, you see the 33 in front right there. We can go on board with someone else here. William Martin, my apologies. This 12 machine, who was in that pack, got through unscathed in this number 12 scheme. See the 914, that's Lee Hamby. Ran really well at Charlotte last week. Unfortunately, got caught up, kind of ran over by Hayden Higginbottom. Lee, it looked like to me just didn't have a good jump on that on the restart. Unfortunately, got caught up and stuff. But with that said and done, that's going to end your practice. Go ahead and look at your practice results here. See Zach Johnson, your quickest in practice. We're not going to be able to see that now. But you saw right there briefly. Zach Johnson, your quickest in practice, as we get ready to get into qualifying. Speaking of Zach Johnson, he's the first one out on to set a lap. You're going to see some drivers maybe try to do what they call on the sim the cheese, where you're going to purposely kind of be slow and try to putt around the track on this outlap to keep the tires cool, keep the tires up, down on temp. So what they do, when they do decide to go and start that lap, they're gonna have to cool their tires. Obviously, you see this 33 decide not to do the cheese, if you want to call it. He's just gonna go straight out of the head and start this qualifying lap. Pull up your qualifying ticker. I'm just right on board with the number 33 for this lap. And you see, once again, we're talking about in the previous, the bumps on the bottom. It just really just makes that truck go up and down and up and down. It really does. You know, if you take them the wrong way, it will slow you down, right? And that's the really unique thing about qualifying here at this Legacy Daytona race, where it's like, where do you put the truck? Where do you want to go all the way on the bottom and take the bumps where those bumps might slow your truck down? Or do you go a lane higher like Zach is doing here, and maybe getting just a little bit more speed, but you are going a little bit longer on the track? Coming to the line here. Back 50.605, my apologies. Now that's currently your pole sitter. No one else is across the line yet. Corey Mott goes to the top of the board. 50.509, 507. Michael Deitch coming around to complete his first lap. Michael Deitch did not set a lap there. I don't know if maybe this is to start his first lap. You see him in this YMCA machine, a really slick looking truck. We can zoom in here and see what it says on that side. YMCA of Long Island. So there you go. Michael Deitch electing to run the top here. What kind of lap time this 17 runs? To the line. Give him a 50.93. And here he comes. So I think this is to start his second lap, I believe. So that was an out lap for Michael. And you notice for all these drivers, they're not cutting the apron like you would at the newer repaved Daytona, just because of how bumpy and how yawing out that they're making these trucks go with the bumps and stuff. And the apron down there right at the start finish line, where you would see a lot of drivers cut it, it actually does slow the truck down a lot more. And from my experience, I mean, you still continue to see Michael Deitch is not going to cut the apron. And a lap do we get here? 50.564. That's good enough for P7. Pretty good lap by Michael. Ryan Taft running his second lap. And we're going to 3 and 4 here. Ryan Taft with a 50.618. For that second lap. Only 2 1,000ths off his best time, so he's going to stay there in that 12th position to not improve on that time. Currently, no one else out on track to set a lap, so we'll go ahead and put you overhead standings as qualifying's done. That would make sense. So we get ready to get your starting grid right up here. Remember, these drivers do have a lot of tools in the shed. We talk about this every time. I really try to insinuate how much tools that these drivers have that they can use to improve these, uh, you know, the lap times and everything else to out of these trucks to make sure that they can do everything they need to. We see some third on pit road. That's pretty interesting to see. Well, we didn't even get to see this lap, but Hudson Sangster, get your pull. Get ready to let these guys get ready to go. We'll wait on this pace car to go out and we'll start your starting grid. Waiting on some more guys to get going here, but 100 laps here at Daytona International Speedway. I'm not sure if I presume it's no stages. It wasn't stages last week, so I'm going to assume no stages once again. But actually, we'll go ahead and start your starting grid here, presented by High Velocity TV once we get this up and going. The Hudson Sangster gonna be your pole sitter for the 9th race with Garth Griswold in that number 3 machine. Gonna be a P2 driver. Corey Mott in that number 99, we saw him nearly lose to Nathan Jump in that number 15 machine. Jonathan Ledger is going to run that row too. Noah Hunt in that number 45 machine is going to be in P5 with Lee Hamby. Really fast in Charlotte. Going to round out your row 3. Michael Deitch, P7 in that number 17 machine with Ted Lisby in that 44. Going to round out your top 8. Cody Simmons in the 911 machine with Jim Mott. Rounding out your top 10. Zach Johnson in that 33, going to be P11 with Ryan Taft rounding out row 6. Row 7, Joe Gibbons in that number 8 machine with William Martin. Nate Pedoti with Nathan Higginbottom. Going to round out row 8. Sitting there in 17th is going to be James W. Hebert with Jay Salmon. Rounding out that row 9. And rounding out the field, Bob Baker in that number 11 machine. So we talked about it. 100 laps here. It's going to be really exciting. Taking a look at your track facts presented by Delta Eagle Designs. Obviously, we're here at Daytona International Speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida. You can go out just a half a mile walk out to the beach, and you can go out and see the ocean out there. But here in Daytona Beach, 2.5 miles for 4.02 kilometers with banking, 31 degrees of bankings in the corners with 18 in the tri-oval. Once again, thank you so much to Delta Eagle Designs for everything they do. We have his Twitter or X linked down below. So if you guys want to go support him, does great paint scheme work, great graphic design work. Make sure to go check him out down in the description down below. Looking at your race weather, 69 degrees with a 14-mile-an-hour wind. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that wind affects the drivers and everything else. So we'll see how well it will affect these drivers. Obviously, the wind at these super speedways is going to make it very, very tough. But 100 laps here at Daytona International Speedway at Legacy Daytona International Speedway. So the thing about the smooth Daytona, it would make it a little bit easier for these drivers, I feel like. But no, we're at Lumpy Tona, as we call it. Old Legacy Daytona, 100 laps of hard racing. You're going to see the drivers up, elbows out, for every lap we do here, because, I mean, this track is tough. It is going to be tough, and it's going to be hard to navigate. You're going to see this pace car take the hard left turn. 103, and the 3 going to lead you to green at Daytona. Coming to the start finish line at number 903, Hudson Sinks, who's going to lead your first lap at Daytona. You see side by side for that P2 position is Corey Mott trying to push that inside further out, but you see the 3 of Garth Griswold trying to lead that top further out. Single side by side, 9, 10, 11 rows deep here, as you're going to see, you know, these drivers try to figure out how the truck wants to run and what's going to happen and who's going to be comfortable pushing where. Obviously, you saw, and you see already now, how bad these bumps are and how bad these trucks are going to handle, not only by themselves, but in the draft, right? One checkup, and you can take out the whole field here. But still side-by-side for the race lead. 903 on the bottom, 3 on the top. As you see the blinker of that, I think the 98, that is Jonathan Ledger trying to push out that 3 machine to the lead and give it to the 3 of Garth Griswold to complete that lap 2. You're starting to see already that top lane. It's hard to, you know, hold a lane here, especially at Lampitona, but not only at Lampitona. Here in this legacy pickup truck, it is super difficult to make a line work, to make things work, because you already see Jonathan Ledger going to split the 3. He's going to take him middle 3, and there goes the 3. They're going to spit him out on the top, and there goes Garth. Back to the... And he's just going to continue to fall further back. As, oh, we see contact between the 1 is... Oh! Caution will wave here, I will believe. We still have cars slow back there. Have some cars really tore up. It's a caution will wave finally. Looks like Jim Mott, fortunately, got caught up in there. We'll take a look and see what happened. We'll go right on board with that. Gotta find that number 1 machine and see if he can show us what happened. You see that 1 on the top. If we can get a different camera angle here. That's the 1 machine on the top lane right there. We'll try to make this go a little bit fast forward. See what happens to get this one all tangled up. You see Michael Deitch. Hit the apron there. What happens to this 1 machine? So the 3 comes, hits the wall. I think that just spooks Jim. They come down the track, and he's going to make contact with the 911 machine, come up and slap the 3. And the 1 seems like he's got pretty normal damage. Well, you go back here and you see this machine back here very tore up. Trying to figure out what happened to him. This is James Ebert back here, just biding his P's and Q's. We can go on board with it. Oh, there we go. So, saw the wreck happening in front. The 12 checked up. He did not. And that's a lot of racing. I mean, he's already out of the truck right now, it looks like. So, no, he's not. But, yeah, that's what happened. Just a checkup from the wreck. And you see that 921 machine get in the back of the 12 and going to tear up that truck a lot. You see Ledger out in front here. We saw him take that 3-3 wide, and I think that's what kind of forced that caution, is The three getting put three wide, and just trying to stay out of the way. You saw him getting the wall, had to yank it off, and now Garth back here with a lot of damage to the rear end. Unfortunate. I mean, he, qualified P2 and already out here back in P16 now. Lots of damage to that machine. And luckily, I mean, we got 95 more laps to go. So it will give him a lot of time to get some damage fixed if we do get some more cautions, which I imagine we will, right? It is Daytona. This is, the World Center of Racing, but it's also, in some cases, the World Center of Chaos, where, you get one driver makes a mistake and it can put a lot of people in some bad spots. So you kind of saw that with the three, right? The three made a mistake, trying to stay out of the way, gets up into the wall, made a mistake, and fortunately caused this caution by peeling it off the wall and making that one of Jim Mott kind of panic, make contact with that 911 machine, and everything was just on swing from there. That three gonna come down pit side, see if he can get some more damage fixed on this machine. No fast repairs for these drivers here in the Legacy Truck Series, so whatever damage you gotta tough it up and deal with it, or try to come down and get as much as you can fixed. And that's gonna be the deal is, do you risk coming down and maybe even going a lap down to get this damage fixed and hoping you can get the lucky dog? Or do you just try to baby this damage the best you can and hope for the best, right? Hope that you can keep up with the pack, right? Jonathan Ledger, your race leader, decides to come down and take some fuel. It looks like he was in. No, it looks like he just came down pit road, did not stop in his box. So maybe just didn't feel comfortable being up there leading the race. Said, I'm gonna come down, get out of the way. Maybe he didn't like what he saw up front. Said, I'm gonna come down, give up some track position, so if something does happen, I'm not gonna be right in the middle of it. That will give the lead over to Hamby in that 914 machine. Remember, Hamby ran really well at Charlotte last week. Unfortunately, got caught up in a restart wreck with the 88 of Higginbottom. So it's going to be Hamby, and then Hudson Sangster, your pull sitter, are going to be that P2 driver. Noah Hunt in the 45, up 2 positions. Glad to see Noah back in the Crown Jewel racing stuff with the trucks. Obviously, we saw him racing in the VRS Truck Series before that got disbanded. And now you see him up here in this 45 in the Legacy Truck Series. Number 45 Crystal Pepsi machine. A really nice looking machine for him. And Corey Mott back here running out your Fast 4. I mean, if you watched last week, if you don't, we do have the VOD up on the YouTube channel. I definitely go and give that preseason race a watch. Corey Mott just barely losing out to Nathan Jump by 12/100ths of a second. And speaking of Nathan, not attending the Daytona race, so we are at least guaranteed for this start of the season to get a new winner, right? Nathan isn't going to be here to stink up the party and go back to back here. So we will get a new winner here in the kind of reboot of the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. The lap 7 of 100 complete here at Daytona. 1 caution under our belt. And currently only 1 driver laps down, and that is this number 921. We saw him kind of just get caught up in that wreck. You see a lot of front end damage with that. He's 2 laps down. Everybody else at least trying to limp it back. Garth, you see some damage to him. You see Jim Mott with a lot of front end damage. I wonder how that's going to affect his pace and his speed, right? No, I think Garth isn't going to be too bad. He's just got some rear end damage, maybe some handling issues to that machine. But I don't really see any front end damage to that. You see Jim with some front and rear damage, so that's definitely going to not look well. But coming back here, see the lights on a pace car are off. And it is going to make that hard left turn on the pit road. Single file starts here for the Legacy Sportsman Truck Series. Okay, as the pace car decides to stay on. Interesting. Sorry about that, folks at home. A little confusing. I mean, you clearly saw the lights off, and I thought we were going green here. That's the way to go. We'll go backwards this time. We'll go through top 10. Joe Gibbons here in your 10th place. Jay Salmon and number 67. Up there in P9. Zach Johnson, new to the league. Cody Simmons, new to the league as well. And there in P7. Michael Deitch, kind of a veteran in this Crown Jewel community. Up there in the P6 position. Ted Lisby, back there in P5. Corey Mott, obviously boss man up there. P4. Noah Hunt, just documented him making his return back into the Truck Series. Up there in the P3 position. Hudson Singster has won a couple races here in the Truck Series. Obviously the VRS Truck Series, but now here in the P2 position in a really good spot to maybe lead some laps, give himself a great opportunity to come here and claim victory here at Daytona. And Lee Hamby ran really well at Charlotte. Looks like he could be a favorite to maybe be up here and be competitive throughout the season. Leading your race. The lights are definitely off on the pace car this time. See that race leader right there. Everybody lined up. I think it's super unique that obviously it's a legacy, so they're going to be single file for these restarts. That 914 is going to lead you back to green at Daytona. We're going to have a pretty orderly restart here. Oh, the 45 I think gets into the wall there. It's going to be the cool factor of who decided to jump down and lead that bottom lane first. Like it's going to be the 67, and Salmon is going to at least get down there to show that he wants to make that happen. But everybody right now content being single file. He's going to get some help by the aid of Gibbons. Gonna need a couple more guys to get down there to help them out. Obviously, they're trying to do their best to side draft their way up there. See now, some people starting to go down to the bottom. Here comes the 903 of Sangster to block that 67. They're gonna get a huge run down into turn 1 and 2. He's actually gonna clear that top lane, and he can go wherever he needs to. Gonna go back up to block the top. Some aggressive pushing. What a save by the 903. Good heads up driving by the whole field to not, getting the back of each other. But you see the 903 now, he's gonna continue to lead the top, and with that whole checkup, it's gonna allow that 67 to get side by side. Well, he was gonna get side by side. He will get a run down here. Will the 903 block, or will he stay up top? Seems like the 903 is going to come down, not clear. Hudson being really aggressive with these blocking, and with the 11 laps complete here, I'm a little surprised that you see this aggressiveness early, right? You do not want to make enemies this early in the race. If these people see that, like, well, he's going to be aggressive with the blocks, potentially wreck the field, they are not going to work with him. They are going to split him 3, put him in the back, and make him work his way back up here. Right now you see him continue to lead the top with that 914 trying to push him out, but the 67 getting some help from the 8 machine. Going to the line, I think will be the 903 once again. And well, Sangster leads another lap here at Daytona. I know 3 is really doing it. That outside, I just feel like it just has a good run down the straight, and that bottom is just not hooked up enough to really make anything happen down the straight here. You're already starting to see now the top two, almost the top three on that top lane. Gonna get clear, but here comes a run by the 67 down the corner. Gonna get side by side, at least for that P2 position. Maybe side by side for the lead here. Huge run by the 67. You're gonna see that run start to die out just a little bit. Now 903 is gonna continue to lead laps here. And now we're starting to see some calm right now. As the caution out, Michael Deitch around in the back. We'll take a gander to see what happened. Take a look at this number 17 machine back here. Oh man, the 911 just hooks the 17. Nowhere to go for some of these guys. I think the 88 might have gotten a little bit of a benefit of the doubt there when it came to damage. Take a look and see. Yeah, just the 911 just comes up, hooks the 17. Nothing that Deitch did wrong there. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Wrong place, wrong time, and caution will wave once again. Yeah, no damage from that 88. Aiden getting really lucky. Let's actually ride on board with this number 88 machine if we can go back in time enough to... Oh, wow. Yeah, he definitely made contact. That idiot has to be thinking some type of iRacing employee for not getting him caught up in there. We're under caution once again, coming to lap 15. And we say hello to everybody watching at home. Say hello to Life and Jonathan Massey back in the YouTube chat. We appreciate all you guys coming out and watching the broadcast. You know, obviously here at High Velocity TV, very young network, and trying our best to, you know, grow in different spaces, and super appreciative of this Crown Jewel community to let us to continue to grow and get better and get our name out there. So huge shout out to Corey and all these people, the admins, and really the racers out here for coming and continuing to come out to let us put on these great shows out at home for you guys. You know, without these racers, without Crown Jewel, you know, we're not be able to broadcast for you guys out at home. So lap 15 of 10 of 100 complete, and we already have 2 cautions, and you start to think, you know, we've maybe seen this story before with the Crown Jewel guys, with the Crown Jewel Truck Series, with the Truck Series specifically. Obviously, I cannot speak for the, you know, the Gen 4 series that will be coming up, and the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series and all that, but we've seen this before. At the start of these races, guys are really aggressive, and it causes these cautions, right? We talked about this last week at Charlotte. We had a caution, I think, within the first 5 laps of that race starting, and it took out a bunch of guys, right? No fasty pairs here, once again, for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. And, you know, we already see some guys laps down. We still see the 921 of James Herbert laps down from that caution that happened within the first 10 laps. And we still see lots of people back here. Jim Mott coming down, trying to his best to his ability to get some of this damage fixed, but still lots of damage to this number 1 machine. You see, oh my, that's a, I mean, you're talking at least 5, 6, 7 minutes of damage to this machine. See Jim coming out, because you see in that background, look around that ticker area, you see the rest of the field coming around. So Jim will come out, try to continue to lift his car around. Michael Deitch behind. Honestly, not the worst damage. You see definitely a lot of rear end damage to this machine. Some scrapes on the left side, but definitely came out there less unscathed than I expected him to, at least. So Liam Martin coming out of pit road. I believe he should be very interesting. The lights are off on the pace car. Once again, Hudson Sankser can lead us to green once again. Led 7 of your 16 laps, so just a little under half your laps. And you start to think that when you get a guy out front like Hudson who is content and okay and willing to make these blocks, it's going to be hard to make a charge, especially for someone like Hudson who knows how to plate race and knows where to put this truck to make things work. And you saw the 67 of Salmon trying to make a charge and just could not make it happen on the bottom. And you saw Lee Hamby on the top being content, pushing that 903 out. Obviously a long race to go, so you're going to start to see the aggressiveness pick up maybe, towards the latter half of the stage. But I honestly don't blame someone like Lee, who's sitting back there in that P3 position, for just sitting in there, pushing out your leader, making sure he's keeping that truck clean and staying out of trouble. Lights are off on the pace car. You're going to see it take the hard left turn. We'll hand the race back over to Barney, as he's going to wave this green flag to bring us back green at Daytona. Truck's getting up to speed here, and you already see the 903 jump to the bottom. You already see the bottom lane start to fill up. Ooh! A lot more quickly than you saw that last restart. 67 grabs the apron. And you see now the top is the lane now that is malnourished when it comes to drivers. Right now you just see a 3-car pack up there, the 913, the 914, my apologies, the 8, and it looks like the 44 of Ted Lisby. And they're going to try to make this top work. And they're doing a decent job. You see now the 913 and the 67 are going to jump up top. They're going to grab that top lane and allow the 45 and Noah Hunt to make a run. They get side by side here. 45 will get side by side with the 67. Now side by side with the 903. You see that run off the top. You see the 67. He's going to jump down now to try to lead this bottom. Seven with the run. He's going to get clear of that top lane. Will he go up and block it? Will he be content to stay on this bottom and not leave out this 45 out to dry? Like to stay on the bottom. 67. The Samuel's going to lead his first lap. Down in turn 1 and 2, the top starting to fade a little bit. The numbers just aren't there. Not 3 wide. The 67 gets split 3 middle. Is he going to get back down in line? Corey Mott electing to lift and let him get back in. And Corey saw what happened when someone got taken 3. A wreck happened. So I think Corey, trying to be patient, trying to keep that truck clean, said, you know what? I'm content just kind of riding back here, trying to save this truck, get in there, and you can actually push the 7 out the lead. And speaking of that, Nate Kadoti, I hope I'm saying that right. He's going to go out there and lead this bottom. .45 jumps up to the top. And it's actually going to allow, I think with the numbers now, the top has the numbers now to be a little bit more competitive, and now the 45 is going to lead that top. The 903 pushing him, with the 7 getting pushed by the 67. The 45 is going to get clear. He's going to lead his first laps. Noah Hunt leads his first laps of the race. You're starting to see that top start to form. It's start to show that dominance that it did before. On board with the 903 Hudson. Right up the tailgate of this Crystal Pepsi machine. Now 903 is doing exactly what he needs to keep this line going and keep the momentum up. You don't see him. He's not ever really making contact with that 45, but he's arrow pushing him out, right? These trucks are really sensitive to pushes here, especially at a bumpy and abrasive track like Daytona. Just a wrong bump can really send a car sideways, or a truck sideways. And you just see him. He's just getting close enough to where he's just arrow pushing him out, but not really making a lot of contact to potentially upset that 45. And 45 doing a pretty decent job holding his line and letting the standout 3 do a good job pushing. So that's the one thing when it comes to super speedway racing. You'll see a lot of guys who want to be up there and run up front, but they just cannot be steady with the wheel and hold a line. And it makes it super hard for that line to succeed when you have a car kind of zigzagging all over the place. Now, luckily, you have the 7 who's doing a pretty decent job holding the line, and the 45 obviously doing a pretty decent job holding the line. And it makes it so much more difficult here at Daytona with the bumps and everything, because we are at the legacy version of this track. With the bumps and stuff, it makes it so much more difficult to hold a line. Not only as a leader, but everybody in the pack, right? You see the 7, oh, getting a little bit tight there. I don't know if that's them, the 7 trying to go up there and side draft to take some air away, or if he's just starting to lose the handling on this truck. The 7 side by side with that 903, that second in lane there, but once again the top with a little bit of a run. You'll consistently see this. You'll see the bottom get a little bit of advantage in the corners, but that top with the momentum off you get and the energy out of the corners, you'll see them start to pull on the straight. And so, oh wow, almost a huge unfortunate block by that 7 machine. You saw this 67 kind of had to follow him down into the corner. And I'm interested to see what the field strategy is going to be like. I did not get a chance to talk to any drivers or really get into a session myself to see what field mileage looks like in these trucks. When you go to Daytona here, you know, with the current, you know, Craftsman Truck Series trucks with the Toyota, the Ford, and the Chevy, I think, you know, usually the fixed races are, what, 25, 30 laps. So I'm going to assume we're in that same kind of ballpark range of 25 to maybe 35 laps. Now you see both lanes side by side. They're even now, right? See the 67 all over the back tailgate of the 7, doing everything he can to get that 7 out to the lead. I mean, and that's something that takes trust, right? You got to trust that leader can take the push, but also as the leader, you have to trust that pusher will push you out safely and not wreck you, right? There's been so many times where you're in a situation. Oh, it was the 903. Super tight out of the corner there, going into the corner. Oh, caution! That's in the front of the pack, and that's going to definitely throw the yellow. Take a look at your drone cam, at your chopper cam. I love this chopper cam when you do super speeders. It really does give you a good insight of what's going on. It's a really good aerial overhead shot, so you can really see what's going on here. So we'll go a little bit of a slow-mo action to see what happened here. Oh, you see the 7 with a bad push by the 67, kind of hooks him. He's going to hook him to the outside wall. The 67 involved. You see the 44 involved. Ooh, the 11, Bob Baker gets hooked. Bob goes around for a spin. We'll go back and see how that damage is for the 67, if we can find MJ back there. I mean, that's what we were just talking about. As we were talking about it, you have to be able to trust it. Oh, is Bob can almost make contact with her after the wreck there. That's something you have to be worried about, right? And we just saw right there in action. See the 45 with some damage. Really, everybody. Hudson with some damage. I think the only truck that looks clean right now is this 33 and this 99 of Mott and Johnson. The 44 looks like, I think he got a piece of it. It looks like, looking at the replay, looks like the 44 maybe got the right front a little bit. Yeah, you see right there that tire exposed there on that red machine. But we were kind of in the fuel window, so you will see everybody at least come down pit road. Top off on some Sunoco race fuel, maybe take some tires. But lots of damage to lots of those guys. But as we talk about this, we'll go back to what we were talking about with the trust of this, right? Oh, the 11's gonna get spun out in the back. Bob Baker spun out, trying to enter his box. Yeah, I mean, that's just what happens sometimes here at Daytona, right? I don't think Bob realized that there's someone down there, and I don't think the guy who spun him out, I'm not sure who that was, realized that Bob was going to turn down like that, right? So, that's what can happen. We'll go back out on track here. Garth Griswold with the 7.2 second stop. Yeah, it looks like he maybe just top off on fuel. Everybody else 14 second, 15 second, 16 second stops for the most part. Probably took some fresh tires. And it's going to be interesting to watch because obviously this 3, you can see right here, still has a lot of damage on that rear end, and it's going to make it hard for people to want to work with them. I mean, like when you look at a car and you say, okay, this is someone I want to trust to push, you know, you want kind of a flat surface to kind of evenly push them out. If you look at the rear end of this 3 machine, there is nothing flat about that rear end. It is perfectly curved, almost like kind of symmetrical to the front end, right? And that's going to make it really hard for, even if people do want to work with this 3 machine, for them to safely push this truck out. Obviously, it's not, we are in a simulator, right? And it's not going to be 1-to-1, right? I guarantee you that it's not going to affect it in the way that it would in real life, but it's definitely going to make it hard for some of these guys to want to work with this 3 machine. You see him out here, along with the 7 of Nate coming out. Not a lot of damage besides that left rear crinkle on that 67. But this 7 machine, a lot of right front damage. Quite a bit of back end damage as well. Jim Mott still trying to fix that truck. And honestly, that front end looks pretty good considering what we saw before. Just a little bit of rear end damage for that 1 machine. But, you know, Jim trying to be as patient as he can to try to get as much damage as he can fixed. Looks a lot better than it did before. So, I'll give him that. Deitch. 3 laps down right now. Just like in good old days, the lap cars will go on the bottom and race these guys. So Michael Deitch will be the first car on that bottom lane. And Garth Griswold will be your race leader. But I'm interested to see, what people are going to go down with that, because obviously, that second restart we saw the guys immediately dart down to the bottom, but right now there's a lap car down there occupying that space. And with Deitch, you think he's got to feel a little bit helpless down there. Right now he's like one of the only cars down there on the bottom lane. Not going to get any help on this restart when it comes to pushes. And that damage also isn't going to be very inviting to work with, regardless of being laps down, right? He's going to have to make some friends as a lap car to maybe help get him back into position. You see now some lap cars get back up there to maybe help that Deitch machine. Looks like that is the 2921. Gonna be on the inside as well, but we're gonna be back green here at Daytona as the 3 is gonna lead us back to green. The 3 is gonna lead you down into turn 1. And I think it's just a matter of time until this 3 gets left out. You see the 6? Ryan Taft with the run on his own. He's going to get side by side with the 33 for this P2 position. Will anybody go with the 6 machine? Ryan trying to side draft that 33 back. Still no help right now. Taft's going to get in the wall. Here comes the 12. Of William Martin. He's going to come out there and push that 6 machine. And here comes the 33. He's going to block that top lane. That's going to be the 3 versus the 33 going into turn 1 and 2. Remember, this 3 car of Garth, he's not down on power. There's no damage to that front end of that truck. Maybe there's a little bit of aero that will slow him down on the straights. And you see it now, yeah. I think you're starting to see now that just the aero is starting to just slow him down a little bit. He cannot lead a line. He might be able to sit in line, but he's not going to be able to lead. So he's going to have to catch up to the 6 machine quick, because this top is rolling now. 33 is going to get clear. He's going to lead a lap here at Daytona. Wolf's going to go down and block the bottom. And to get side by side with the 33 for this race lead. William Martin, newcomer to the front. Now I think that is Deitch. No, that is that the 98? That's the 914. My apologies. Lee Hamby going to make it 3 wide. A lot of black machines that showed up to this track. It's hard to decipher some of these trucks sometimes, and he goes from the middle all the way to leading the top. He's gonna lead a lap here. Oh, the 914 gets kind of punched into the wall there. As they all sorted out back there, you saw people on the apron, all kinds of stuff back there. But good for everybody to get that sorted out. Now this kind of front 6 is kind of all separated out versus everybody behind who are starting to get lined up. You see the 6 right there, that is of Ryan Taft. Gonna probably get some help here to get linked back up. They're still very within that draft range to continue to get back up there. I am a little concerned with Garth. He is leading that bottom of this kind of now secondary pack. And now that the guys have gotten there, you are starting to see kind of 2 distinct packs, but I feel like they will easily get back up there, as they will. Start to see that 3 start to close in, to get back down. You see the 903 going to come back and block that spot from the 3. See the 921. A lap down, but going to try to go up there and help that top lane. I think that's the 914 up there. Going to get up there and try to help push them out if he can get up there in time. Up here for your race lead. I mean, it's a dominant bottom, a bottom dominant race right now. There's really no one able to go up there and help this 914. Try to help, right? He's just kind of stuck up there on top, hoping that he can get someone who's willing to go and help him out. Right now, no hope indeed. But he's going to continue to hemorrhage spots as this bottom continues to start to pull and pull. There is a top lane that's formed up there, just has not been able to get back up to Hampy back there. Now you see the 6 of Ryan Taft. He's going to go up there and say, okay, I'll work with you. Six will get up there. Oh, the 44 is not going to jump up. Oh, the 6 gets into the wall. 30 wide. 45 gets into the wall as well. Calamity back here outside the top 10. Everybody gets it sorted out. Back here for the battle for the lead. The 914 of Hamby does have some help. He does have the 12 going to push him out. And behind the 12 is that 67 of Salmon. Remember, he was up towards the front too before he got involved in that last caution. But that 12 is not being able to get to the rear end of that 914. See the 6 in the wall again back there. .33 continues the lead here at Daytona. You have the 44 of Ted trying to push this bottom lane out. But here comes the top. The 914 finally has some decent help with the 12 of William Martin. William, even with that damage, being able to be a good pusher to try to get that 914 out. And you're just starting to see how hard it is with these bumps to control these trucks. And we're only 10 laps into these stints, 10 laps on tires, and they're already starting to get a little bit squirrely around the corners. To the 12 all over the place. I mean, you saw that, you see that rear end damage on that 12, and that definitely is going to affect the way that truck handles, and you know, it is going to step out a lot easier in the corners, right? You think, oh, it's a super speedway, like you're full throttle, there's not going to be handling, right, issues, but if you do have damage, it will, you know, start to affect the way that the truck handles, right? I mean, you see him all over the place sometimes out of the corner, trying to keep that thing underneath him. But despite, you know, only having 3 trucks on the top, it's holding tough. That 914 has been able to stay within the top 3 all race. Well, not all race, but since this run started, a little bit of contact between you 2 leaders. Go side by side, really, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 car lengths deep. As you start to see them start to catch some lap traffic, we'll see in the 4 shot sooner or later. Bob Baker gonna get ran down here. Oh, we have some jockeying back here. Corey Mott gonna get shuffled back here outside the top 10. We saw 3 wide, and I think we saw Corey just back out, trying to give space here. You see Bob. Look at the speed difference between these trucks. You see Bob try to blend in with the pack, as he will. Gonna need some help. And that 3 machine needs to get to the rear end to help keep this bottom going. Obviously, there's still a big list of guys on the top that will help keep them in there. You see the 7 drop down. Nate dropping down to that bottom lane, but we'll go back to your race lead here. 914 trying to put the pressure on the 33 to take away this race lead. Ever since that 33's gotten out, he's not really relinquished it in any way. And I think it's due to, you know, really the pushers. That 12 has damage, that 44 really does not. You maybe see some wrinkles on the rear end there, but that 12, you started to see the handling just continue to go away on that machine. William Martin doing everything he can to hold on to it and give this 914 pushes. Give that lap to the 33 once again. Zach Johnson racking up these lap lead bonuses. His caution is out. 67 is Salmon once again involved. We'll take a replay. We see him actually tow. What happened in the 67 machine? 67 just gets into the wall. Gonna get hooked by the 45. Gonna grab the 7 with them. Nowhere to go for that 7. I mean, just wrong place, wrong time. And, ooh, the 67. Kind of tank slaps the back end of that truck. The price he towed. I mean, obviously you see some rear end damage, but just barely kind of grazed it into that inside arm cut right there. And obviously you see the 7 with some damage once again. And caution will be out once again, approaching the halfway point in this race. We get ready to see green flag pit stops happen. I mean, not green flag pit stops. We will probably see pit stops happen here, is what I'm trying to say. So as we see that, we're actually going to go side by side and let our partners for the iRacing share their words of knowledge.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live here at Daytona International Speedway. Lap 44 complete here. Looking at your top 5 right now. Johnson, Hamby, Linsby, Martin, and Taft. And then number 6 running at your top 5. Oh, I guess that we'd maybe have some drivers come down pit road. We're kind of approaching that halfway mark, obviously, on lap 44 of 100, but no. Only drivers who elect to come down pit road. Joe Gibbons is the first one out. Has to come down, top off on some Sunoco race fuel, along with Jonathan Ledger in this Dodge Mopar machine. Jamot coming down. It looks like he took a full pit stop. We'll see a little bit of damage on that machine. Everybody back on back. You see the 3 with still damage and stuff, but everybody, I would say 6 on back, came down and decided to take some tires. Well, at least come down pit road and top off on fuel at the very least. Once again, I hope everybody's having a great Sunday night. Hope everybody enjoyed the Cup race. You saw Chase Briscoe win at Pocono in a fuel strategy race. Congratulations to Chase Briscoe on that win. Obviously, his first win for the JGR group, Joe Gibbs Racing, and obviously go for Stuart Haas his whole Cup career, and Stuart Haas Racing kind of cutting down and forming into the Haas factory team with Cole Custer driving that number 41 Dark Horse Mustang, and with the retirement of Martin Truex Jr. allowed Briscoe to go up there and take over that 19 car. And really exciting to see Chase go up there and then finally win his first race up there for the captain and Joe Gibbs, right? Very talented race car driver. Really put it team on his back when he was at Stuart Haas, when you definitely saw the speed start to dissipate. With not only for that 14 team, but really for the whole team in general. You look at Kevin Harvick struggled in the next gen era in general, right? Just because Stuart Haas just did not have the speed anymore, and you really did start to see the frustration build as time went on, and obviously you see Tony Stewart exit the sport. Now is doing his drag racing and stuff, which Tony's doing a really good job and having a lot of success. So happy for Tony. He's an icon in the sport, icon and really in the motorsports community, right? Not only did NASCAR and now drag racing, he did, the IndyCar stuff as well. So Tony, a legend in the motorsports community, and going to continue to be an icon throughout the years here. But I guess to wrap everything else up, congrats to Chase Briscoe on your first win for JGR at Pocono. Also, congratulations to Connor Zilic, your first oval win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Very highly touted prospect up there, racing for Junior Motorsports. You see that pace car hook a hard left turn, and that 33. Wait, Zach Johnson's gonna lead you back to green. See the 911 machine of Cody Simmons gonna lead that bottom of the lap cars. You see Michael Deitch also back there in the bottom. Already you're starting to see that Ted Lisby dropping down. Gonna try to make that bottom start to work. You see now Ryan Taft jumped to the bottom. Once again, that 914 kind of hung out the drive once again, but he does have help from the 903 of Hudson Sangster. Hudson Sangster making his way back up to the front. Obviously, still see some damage to that rear end, but I don't think that's going to slow down that driver at all. Was kind of dominating those first kind of 20-ish laps. You already see him up towards the front once again. And a 4 with help from the 903. Remember, I really do think Hudson's going to be a little bit more prone to want to work with with the race leader here, because remember when Hudson was leading this race, the 914 was the one who was pushing him out and making sure that he was keeping the lead and was content with just sitting back there right now. We're not even halfway done with the race. I think it's smart to kind of find your spot and kind of sit here for now. Obviously, if we go green, we're going to have to do green flag pit stops, which is going to be an issue in itself potentially with how unstable these cars are under braking. But, when we come back, I feel like it is time. We've seen continuous wrecks. We've had, I think, at most of a 25 lap run. I think these drivers are talented enough. We can't go and do a full food run, come down pit road, and do what they need to, right? You see side by side for the race lead once again. The 33 looking underneath the 914 with help from the 44. Ted up 4 positions from where he started back there in that 8th place position. So working his way up into that top 3, top 4 area. now the 914 completely clear of both lanes, so he kind of chooses his destiny. If I say that, here comes the 33 on the bottom. Once again, we talked about it. The bottom's going to have the advantage into the corner, throughout the corner. You're going to see this top lane start to really launch and get some speed out, right? But if you can use that bottom right, as you see now, if you can time it up right to get a good run down the corner, and you have that truck right behind you that can push you on the straights, that bottom can be really dangerous, right? Because regardless of how well that top is pushing, the bottom's going to have the advantage into the corners, into the tri-ovals, because it's just a shorter way around the track. But if you can get a good run down into the corner and then have that truck that's that pusher right up on you as you exit the corner to continue the momentum, you know, that top could really start to dissipate fast. You see it right now, right? At the very least, you see the bottom somewhat saying, you know, even until you get about halfway through this backstretch. As soon as you get to, you know, the bus stop here is where you start to see this top start to really show how dominant it can be with the run off the corner. But 50 complete. Now 50 to go here at Daytona. Give that lap to the 33 of Zach Johnson. You now see the 33 clear of the field. Really good run down the stretch here. Here comes a run from the top though. My apologies. And now you'll see, ooh, it's going to be a close one. I think the 914 got it. Yeah, give that lap to Lee. Lee leads as his 12th lap. As we go to Zach Johnson. Johnson with 13 laps left. So these two kind of going back and forth, leading these laps back and forth. And you can see right there, 12 to 13. So see Zach right now with the edge by 1 lap led over the field. Look and see how many laps led that the 903 has. 9. I expected them to have a little bit more. But there's going to edge out the top once again, so now make it 14 to 12 for these laps led bonuses. Have a blinker in the back. Looks like that's the 7 machine potentially of Nate Cadet. That was the 7. Yeah, internet issues is the last place. Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, New Atlanta. Some of the worst places you want to have these internet issues where you're on top of someone all the time, right? Even if you're in the back here, we'll go back and look at someone like this 99 of Corey Mott, right? If someone's blinking in front of them, it makes it really difficult to gauge where to go and what's happening, right? Especially at Daytona, and especially with just iRacing, with the way it works with netcode, when you blink like that, especially when you're this close together, you've seen some diciness up towards the front, and makes it super difficult to want to work with someone when their internet's upset. See the 44 all over the back tailgate of that 33, trying to do their best to get him out there. And you're starting to see the handling start to go away once again. 26 laps on most of these guys' tires. Hudson Stingster, the lone guy with freshies on, with 10 laps on those tires. But everybody else, for the most part, in the top 4, top 5, with 27 now laps on these tires. So the handling could start to go away on these trucks. Obviously, the bumps and everything else that makes these trucks difficult to drive already. And when you put the tire wear into perspective, it just as the run goes on, it's going to make it more difficult to hold on. Like some of these guys only gone 27 laps. They still have a little bit of time before they need to start thinking about green flag pit stops and stuff. And I think they could go maybe another 10 laps. I would take a guess. 7 to 10 laps, maybe more, right? Hopefully more. And that's gonna be a disadvantage because I don't think they can make it if they go green here. These guys will have to pit twice that are running it long here. Versus some of these guys like Hudson Singster, 12 laps. He still has a good, 20 laps left on fuel. That will get you to around lap 75, lap 80-ish. He can come down, take a stop, make a pit stop, and then only have to pit one more time. Versus some of these guys, like your race leader, Zach Johnson, Lee Hamby, Ted Lisby. Let's see, who else back here? Ryan Taft, also 28 laps on this stint. They, at this rate, if my guesstimations are right, they can go maybe 10 more laps. I'll get you there around lap 65-ish. That brings you back with about 35 to go. So I mean, you'll have to stretch it. So maybe you can make it on one more stop if you're some of these guys, but for sure, if you pitted that last caution, you were sure to go when it comes to fuel. You can still go another maybe 20, 25 laps. But really a stalemate right now when it comes to everybody. Everybody just kind of sitting in line. You still see the 33 leading the bottom, the 904 leading the top, the 914, not the 904. The 903 pushing the 914. And Hudson just being content right there. Right now, he is the furthest up of the guys who did come down pit road. Obviously, Joe Gibbons back there in P5. So it's really, just the top three who have less fuel in the tank, right, than a lot of the rest of the field. Now, Ryan Taft dropping back outside the top 10. He's the only other driver who will have to pit earlier than the rest of the field here. And that's going to be a big disadvantage if these guys have to pit under green, right? Now 30 laps on these on this stint. And if these guys have to pit, it's going to be 3 trucks versus the rest of the field. So if these guys have to pit, they're going to need to coordinate to get maybe that 914 down to the bottom. Even if that means that the 33 and the let's see, the 33 and the 44 maybe lift a little bit to get that 914 to the bottom, right? Because they cannot afford to they keep that 914 on the top and try to put him in a bad spot because they're going to need that extra truck to keep the speed up here. Obviously, they're, I would guesstimate, probably 5 to 10 laps away from having to pit. Maybe I'm wrong, but green flag pit stops are going to be coming up soon if they can keep it green there. You see the 911 machine. Pink slapped the wall. That's Cody Simons, 4 laps down, and he's up there pushing the top. He's that third car on the top right there. Laps down, but putting himself in the spot to maybe, get the lucky dog. As you see some lap traffic up ahead. Now they're going to have to navigate this. That's the 921. And the 17. Isn't it Michael Deitch? Smoking. He's going to come down pit road. And that kind of panicked the whole field, I feel like. We're 2, 3, 4 wide now, trying to get around those lap cars. And I think you saw the smoke, and I think some drivers thought that there was maybe a wreck coming up. And I really panicked. I think you saw a lot of drivers panic right there. If I'm not 914 right now, I'm getting down to get ready for a pit stop potentially in the coming laps. Garth Griswold needing help from this 88 to latch on to the lead draft. And no, the 88, Higginbottom's going to actually go around them. Because they are starting to leech on. I think maybe they were those two that were really hyper conservative about trying to check up as, oh, we have some contact up here. Maybe that's the 911, and once again, good for everybody to keep that going straight. His handling is really, really starting to go away for some of these drivers, you can tell. See the 7 blinking once again. He's starting to move his way up through the field just from all the calamity that's happened. And now you start to see the field start to kind of spread out a little bit. Now the only car side by side is this top 6. See the 45 of Noah Hunt now starting to make his way up through the front. And honestly, this is exactly what some of your race leaders who need a pit a little bit earlier want to see, is the fielding start to get spread apart. Because when they do pit, obviously it's going to, I feel like they're going to coordinate to have all 3 of those guys try to pit together. And the less cars that they have together, the less cars that the rest of the pack have, it's going to be an advantage to them when it comes to speed-wise. Because you're starting to see now, back here, Ryan Taft, the last car in the pack, and then back there, Corey Mott. And this pack is starting to lose them, I feel like, just a little bit. About a second now behind the lead pack. We'll see if he can catch back up here. I think they have secured the lead draft once again. Which, in contrary, is not what those leaders want. They want less cars in this front pack. So when they do decide to come down and pit, if they do pit under green, it's going to be less cars. But now that Corey has definitely secured the lead draft now, just going to drag more cars back up here. See him back off. He's obviously caught the lead pack. No more that he can do here, as we're 3 wide here for the lead. Oh, the 914 is going to go around. Forget pit strategy. That's going to be a caution. The 45. Oh, my. The 911 up on 2 wheels. So we'll take a look and see what happened here. We're looking back at Corey Mott, because we saw 3 wide at the front here. Like just some aggressiveness out of the 903. For some odd reason, Sangster wanted to go. And he wanted to make it 3, and unfortunately that put the 914 in a bad spot. Tried to go to our chopper cam. And really bad net code once again. We talked about it earlier in the race. I think they were going to make contact regardless. But you see the 45 come up and then the 914. He's going to get tagged by the 12. Spin him down the track. See the 45 try to save it. And then you start to see some of these guys back here in the back, just trying to get through the wreck. You see the 911 see a gap up here. And here comes the 45 up the track. And watch this wild ride by the 911 machine. Gets launched into the catch fence. And comes back down the earth. What a ride by this. I mean, you don't really see. I mean, that's Ryan Preece-esque at Daytona, right? When you see the front end lift off the ground, hit the safer barrier, go upside down, and somehow land back on his tires. You figured he'd flip backwards and maybe land on his tires. No, like, that's a really weird physics moment. But a wild ride for that 911 machine. And that's it. And I'll definitely bring everybody down pit side here. So everybody has completed their pit stops under caution. Hudson Sangster gonna lead us out. Zach Johnson at 33 gets unscathed. Or he might. I mean, you talk about keeping your truck clean. Look at this. I don't even see a scratch on this number 99 machine. We're doing a good job keeping that truck in the race still, right? So he's gonna come out P3. Ted Lisby been up here in the top 5 for these last couple of laps. He's gonna come out P4, and running out your top 5 is that 7. Even though he's had connection issues, he's been able to keep this truck up here. We'll see a little bit of rear end damage, but not affected him too much if he's up here in the top 5. So at least being able to stay in the lead draft, and that's really all you can ask for when you come down to these closing laps, is to be in the lead draft and at least give yourself an opportunity to go up there if they wreck or something, to go up there and maybe steal a win. 66 complete here. That'll bring it to 45 to go here at 34 to go here from Daytona. And obviously we saw these drivers go around 34 laps here pretty easily. I didn't really see anybody trying to coordinate coming down pit road, so I think these drivers should be easily good to go on fuel for the rest of the way. So it's just going to be about, you know, who can get up there, who can put themselves in a situation to get themselves the best finish. You know, we've completed what now, 66 laps here. Going to be 66 laps. You've now started to see who's going to be aggressive, who has been aggressive, who's going to put guys in bad spots, right? And now you're going to start to see, like, okay, we know this person's going to do this, we know this person's going to do that. And now maybe you're going to start to see those guys not get the best of help, right? And I mean, we've seen, for instance, your race leader, St. Hudson, took your race leader 3 wide. Unfortunately, is that's what caused that caution, was a little bit of net code between the 45 and the 914 of Hamby. Hamby looks like he's gotten out of the truck, has called it a night once again. Just the worst luck you can see out of a driver. Had potentially the race won at Charlotte, got caught up in a restart wreck, and you just saw there, got taken 3 wide and kind of just got dumped by another driver, and he is called it a night, unfortunately. So sucks for Lee. I feel terrible, right? Had a shot to win this race, and gonna have to pack it up home early. 33 with coming the 33 laps to go. But Hudson Sinkser gonna lead us back to green here at Daytona. Zach Johnson, Corey Mott, Ted Lisby is fast forward. We talked about it and before we went green. Everybody dropping this 914, 903 out. That I saw what you did, right? And I don't want that to happen to me. So you see, you know, the top 3. Oh, is the 7's going to get hooked? He is blinked out. I don't know if that's going to be a caution. We'll definitely still take a look back at what happened while we have the time. Take a look through the chopper cam once again. It looks like the 6 of Ryan Taft hooks to 7. You'll see the 7 disappear real quick there. And with that all said and done, that will not cause a caution. That's really surprising to see that. But coming back to the race for the lead, now you see the 6 of Ryan Taft, who really caused that incident, leading the bottom. He's going to try to make a move at this 33 machine. Is wrecking in the back. That I think is Ledger off the track. I don't know if that's going to be a caution. That will throw the caution, and we'll go back and look at this while we have it. What happened between Ledger? They really wanted that caution to come out. They had to do it again. Looks like the 3 just, frankly, just ran over the 98. And then I'm even more surprised that this was a caution. The other one wasn't. I mean, this was clearly off the racing surface. I mean, even borderline, I mean, they're going down Pear Road. Like, drivers take that line, to go down Pear Road. So, I mean, that's very questionable by the sim to call that, not the other one. But caution will wave with 31 to go here, and we'll have to rack him up once again. Ryan Taft, your leader. I think he'll be leading his first laps. Yep, 2 of 71. So good for Ryan to come up here, get some laps led. Get that 6 car out in front. See him starting to catch the pace car. Gonna roll these trucks down back to pace speed. Double drivers with some meatballs. Looks like Jonathan Ledger with the meatball. Michael Deitch with the meatball. Ledger down. That's Noah Hunt with a meatball. My apologies. Lots of damage to this 45 machine. You can see that left front toe is kind of knocked out, it looks like. Take a look at this right side. Yeah, it was knocked out on both the front tires. So, and I'll definitely be a meatball. Day of the week. That car's got to be going straight for it to be allowed to be back on track. So, and we're starting to slowly lose cars throughout the race here. Now 30 laps to go, but now only 13 cars on the lead lap. And Jim Mott with the black flag coming down Pit Road. Maybe looks like maybe entered a closed pits. I would say. I'm not sure. Maybe he sped down Pit Road. I wish it would tell you what the black flag was for in timing and screening, but it does not. It says he is serving a black flag. So hopefully that's not a race-ending mistake by that number 1 machine. You know, Jim just kind of limping this truck around as much as he can. Obviously, still has that rear end damage from that caution very early in the race, and hasn't really been able to be up there towards the front like he probably wants to. And like high of 6 is definitely not what you want to do, especially with how easy it is to get up to the front. We've seen, I mean, you look at someone like Ryan Taft, low of 13th and now in the lead, right? So it's definitely not too hard to get up to the front, but you know, when you have a damaged truck like Jim, it definitely can make it a lot more difficult to get that Bush Apple machine up to the front and competitive. Not only with that, you know, with the damage, it looks like that damage to the rear end, it looks like he's come down Pit Road several times. It looks like that damage might be irreparable, which will, regardless of if it's completely fixed, that could affect the handling of the truck, and it's not going to drive the same when you have damage, right? Anytime you have damage is most likely for the negative. There's very, very rare cases, especially in the sim, where you get damage and it makes the car faster, it makes the car drive better, right? I'm not saying that's not possible here. We've seen some very rare instances where, especially when it comes to the rear toe of some of these cars, where the toe gets knocked out and it actually makes the car faster in certain situations. Everybody who's aware and a part of the sim racing community, Benjamin A. White Very well known in the iRacing community. Now, he also broadcasts through his own network, was broadcasting an ARCA race. And Dylan Basin was in a wreck, knocked out his toe, and that thing was crab walking worse than like Sam Hornish at Charlotte that one year when it was in the COT. And Dylan was actually faster than the rest of the field with a completely junked car. Obviously, I'm pretty sure the tires were destroyed because the setup's not made to crab out that much. If you guys haven't seen it, you could definitely look it up on Twitter. Go follow Benjamin A. White on Twitter as well, and you could definitely find that clip. Definitely very interesting to see. But you know, going back to Jim, you know, that damage definitely isn't gonna, especially for a track like Daytona where you need like a 100% clean car to be in a good spot. I don't really see having damage being a benefit. So hopefully, you know, Jim can keep going and hang tough, and maybe, you know, if there's another pretty big wreck, you know, he can continue to, you know, gain some spots here throughout the race. Now, Jim already up to P11 where he is now, so, you know, on pace to potentially get a top 10 here at Daytona in the season opener here for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. You see the pace car hook a hard left turn, and Ryan Taft leading us back to green with under 30 laps to go here at Daytona. Sorry, Ryan Taft lose the lead there. And once again, Zach Johnson out to the lead. Getting a lot of help from Joe Gibbs in the 8 machine. Joe making his face well known here. Coming to the last quarter of this race. You know, Joe's been kind of content sitting back there, riding it out, keeping that truck clean. And now look at him. Up in the P2, pushing your leader out in front. Ryan Taft back there in P3. And that number 921 of Hebert, he's been a laps down all race, but has continued to grind out this race, get laps back, and now look at him up there in that P4 spot. But here comes Corey Mott on that bottom. He's going to go down there. And here comes the rest of the field to block that bottom. That's going to leave that 921 out to dry. Now only those two trucks tandeming up there. That's the 44 and James up there trying to make that top work. Now going to get help from the 12, but those guys are not really well put together compared to the bottom. Zach Johnson continues to lead. Joe Gibbons continuing to do a good job pushing him out, and Ryan Taft kind of sitting in there in the wings, hoping for something to happen. And Corey Mott, despite he's got a little bit of things on the paint, I don't think there's really that much damage. Oh, Corey Mott blinking. Here we go. Thought he might have wrecked right there, but just a little bit of a blink by the 99. So here comes the 12, trying to make something happen. William Martin with help from the 44 of Ted Lisby, trying to make the top work. He said, I don't really want to sit back here and ride in line. I need to get up there and try to take some spots away. The lap car down there on the apron, coming in the 4 shot. The 45 and Noah Hunt. Really good for him to keep it off the racing service, let these guys race it out. You know, Noah currently going a lap down, but still lots of damage. He still has a meatball on that 45 machine. So Gonna have to come down pit road once again. Get some damage fixed. We're back to the race for the lead. The 12 and the 44 are making some headway up top. By themselves, no help. They've already gotten up kind of side by side with the second lane when they get down to the straightaways here. That's where they're going to have that advantage. They just need probably one more truck to give them that little oomph to get up there side by side with the race lead, because you see how much of an advantage the bottom gets with everybody kind of lined up. Yeah, Griswold, it was a 44 gets to the wall. That's not going to help that line get going. Now 22 laps to go. We're starting to get into that territory now where you have to start planning, like, who do you want to work with? Do I have any teammates left in this race? Do I have buddies who will go out of their way to work with me to get me up there, right? Who could I trust? See Hudson back there. He's kind of lagging back. I think he thinks, I have a feeling he thinks that there's going to be some more wrecking. And he's already got some damage to that truck. Wants to stay out of it for a second. And it's 20 to go. This is when the chaos is going to start to ensue. This is when the aggressiveness is going to start to pick up. Right now, this 903 just saying, hey, I'm content running back here. I know that I can get back up to the front. I've done it several times. And I'm just going to do it again if I need to. Look at that. Jim Mott has made his way up to the P3 position in the blink of an eye. Where did he come from? You know, we talked about him, you know, not running up front. And now look at him positioning his way up here inside the top three, inside this podium. You know, Jim doesn't really get a lot of good runs. He, you know, I feel like out of the league, Jim has some of the worst luck. He just gets caught up in stuff that isn't his fault, or him being a little bit too precautious sometimes. He checks up for wrecks, and you know, some guys just don't check up like Jim does sometimes, and he gets ran over trying to check up for wrecks, trying to just be precautious. And you know, I could definitely see that it could be frustrating for Jim sometimes when it comes to that. But you see him up there now, third on the bottom, now not in the third place spot because that top lane has started to get some headway. See, Joe Gibbons is starting to lead this top. But now, you know, coming to 20 to go, starting to see Jim start to creep his way up here. Maybe that truck was fine all along. He was just like, hey, I'm going to ride back here until the time it comes to start to move up through the field. No secondary packs here. This is the lead pack. This is everybody who's running, racing for position, racing for the win is all here. I think we do have a couple of stragglers that are lappers, but no, I lied. All lap cars have decided to call the night. So everybody that's on track is on the lead lap. So there's not going to be any lap cars that are going to help dictate who finishes this race, at least as of right now, coming to 18 to go. -lap stint for this hopefully this last green flag run. So you might start to see the handling go away as we get maybe down to 10, 5 to go here. But right now, everybody looking kind of peachy keen, as they call it. You don't really see a lot of aggressive moves. You're seeing everybody kind of sit in line and kind of orderly. Right now, everybody's kind of festering. Everybody's kind of trying to plan out what they need to do, where they need to go. You know, 15 to go. This is where you start to, you know, this is where the heart starts to beat a little bit faster when you get down to 10, 5 to go. So we still have a little bit of time until that happens, but this is where the planning phasing starts, right? Now you start to see who's in here. Now we have what? 12 cars in this lead pack. 11 cars in this lead pack, my apologies. Higginbottom all by himself. Right in front here, actually. So there will be one lap car, if he can latch on, that will be a part of this pack. But this is the time where you start to plan out, okay, this is who's left. We have now 11, probably 12 cars that are going to be in this pack. You know, we have some people that have been known to be aggressive still here. You know, and to be honest, we have primarily a lot of seasoned veterans here in the Crown Jewel Cup Series. We have Gibbons, we have Taft, we have Mott. You know, you have Jim Mott, you have Griswold, you have Ledger, right? You have Zach Johnson, who have been here for a while. Gonna start to see these guys zoom past here. This this 88 machine. The speed difference is just unbelievable from single car to being in the pack. You'll see the 33. He'll blend back into the field. I think he's got some... no one behind him now. There he is, side by side. That is the Hudson. I think he should be close enough to continue to give that 88 draft, so... we'll see, actually. I don't know. That 8 is not really latching on to the back end of that 903. I don't know if Hudson's trying to let him get back up, but he's about to lose the lead draft. He has gotten back up there. I think he is maybe trying to get this 88 up here. Maybe teammates. Back up to the front, single file for the front four. Johnson, Taft, Gibbons, and Hibbert. Is now Jim Mott gonna be the leader of this top lane, pushed by son Corey. Because no one is wanting to help them, so they are gonna... oh, here comes... actually, Ledger wants to lead this line. That'll help get some momentum up there. I'm pretty sure now that Higginbottom has lost the lead draft. I'm looking at, you know, miles per hour is on the timing and scoring. You see, like, Thinkster in the back is about 185, 182-ish. And the fastest I've seen that 88 go is maybe 180, 181. So they, even if he has a draft, he is slowly losing time. You know, he's definitely lost that lead draft, unfortunately. So, once again, as I said before, no lap car is going to decide who wins this race, potentially, if we stay green. Actually, Higginbottom's only one lap down, so he will get the lucky dog as long as he's not involved in that crash. But we'll put him on the lead lap, so that will... and then every other lap per... is off the racing surface. The only one who's still even in the session is Michael Deitch. 32 laps down, sitting in the garage. So 11 to go, going to 10 to go. We talked about this It's time, right? This is time where the heart rate starts to pick up, where it literally feels like your heart's beating out of your chest. I mean, this is Daytona. This is the World Center Racing. This is, the season opener here for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. Like, I mean, this is where, a season can be started, or a season could be ruined, right? I firmly believe that, momentum and hot streaks are a thing, and it does really contribute to how you race and how things happen further down in the season. If you're on a bad streak and you're having some bad luck, I feel like it can really affect you in a bad way. Versus if you come out here and you get a win here at Daytona, you can go back into next week and really have a good shot at running up front and stuff. Obviously, Daytona completely different than some of these other tracks we'll be going to, like the 1.5 miles and the short tracks and the road courses and stuff, because it's Daytona. There's nothing like it, right? But now we're getting down to it to where, you're starting to get antsy. You're gripping the wheel a little bit harder. You're starting to overthink like things you need to do, and you got to think over the plans of what's next, right? You're thinking that 33. He's led so many laps here. Zach Johnson. We'll go back and document this. Zach Johnson has led so many laps, right? He's thinking in his head right now, I've led 34, almost a third of the laps here. It'd be such a shame. It's such a buzzkill if I can't go out here and wrap this thing up and take and win here. But this race isn't here for Zach, right? So Zach's gonna try to fit his way back down onto the bottom. James lets him in. You're gonna get a run again. Jump up to the top. No help though. And then jump back down. I think this 33 right now is just trying to test of what the momentum is. Oh, there it is. 98's gonna go around. Caution's gonna wave. Jonathan Ledger hooked off by someone. We'll take a look. Go back to the old reliable chopper cam. Looks like the 12's having some issues. The 1 of Corey Mott, if Jim Mott's going to hook the 12, 12's going to get into the side of the 98, and yeah. Maybe Jim just didn't really realize what was going on there. I think maybe Jim was trying to maybe go down to the bottom, maybe? I'm not sure, right? It's like he's also blinking. Maybe everybody else was blinking for him, right? So, unsure, but this is going to spice things up. For sure. So Ryan Taft comes out here with the race lead. What happened to the 33? Ryan Taft with a really good run here. And with 6, we'll be going to green here with probably 4 or 5 to go here. So this 6 has put himself in a very good position to maybe come out here and steal a win here at Daytona. Ryan has led a couple laps. But started 12th. You see that right there on our graphic. If we have anybody that comes down pit road, it looks like the 44, the 1 in the 98, obviously 1 in the 98 involved in that wreck. We'll come down pit side. And the 88, that's exactly what the 88 needed. And comes around, he's gonna get the lucky dog here. Get back on the lead lap. Give him a little bit of time maybe to fix some damage. Did the 88 come down? He's gonna try to get some damage fixed. Go back up to the race leader, Ryan Taft. We are under caution. I'm sorry that the ticker does not say that we are. I had to freak out there for a second. With that said and done, we're going to be going 5 to go. Brought to you by TH Designs. Wish we would have done this while we were under green, but no, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Make sure to go over and check out TH Designs over on X-Way. It's linked down in the description down below. And thank you, TH Designs, for sponsoring the Sportsman's Legacy Sportsman Truck Series. Obviously, he's only covering the preseason racing here at Daytona. So, make sure to go down and support and get some work done by TH. Obviously, does a really good job with liveries and schemes here on the iRacing simulator. So go over there and support him. Once again, thank you so much to TH Designs for sponsoring the series. If you guys are looking to maybe sponsor the Legacy Sportsman Truck Series, we also do have linked down below the Crown Jewel Community Discord. So if you guys would be interested in sponsoring not only the Truck Series but any series there with the Crown Jewel community, feel free to go in there and DM maybe one of the admins. Go over there and DM Corey Mott or Garth or someone, and we can definitely make that happen for you guys. Well, with that all said and done, we're going to have a 4-lap shootout here at Daytona. Pace car's going to hook it hard left. And Ryan Taft, Joe Gibbons, and Zach Johnson lead us back to green. See the 8 already getting hooked up with that 6 machine on the bottom. Here comes the 33. He's going to try to side draft these two the best of his ability. Not going to make it work. Gonna have to drop back in line. Garth Griswold going to go up there and help that 33 machine. The 6 is going to make a block. And caution's going to wave once again. A huge wreck. Exactly what you didn't want to see. Everybody caught up in this one. Look back. See the top of the run, and unfortunately the 6 just was not clear. Comes down, grabs the 8. And then up the track, here comes everybody. Just nowhere to go. You see everybody. I think everybody involved in this wreck. Maybe Corey Mott gets through pretty much unscathed, and Hudson somehow finds his way up at the front after all this happens. Wow. Now, I'm unsure if we have NASCAR overtime here. This is a legacy league, right? We're lining up single file like it would back in the day. I am very unsure if we have NASCAR overtime here. If someone in the chat could inform me on that. This is Garth Griswold disqualified on timing and scoring. Very interesting. Joe Gibbons with the meatball. Probably gonna be down here trying to serve it. And here comes the whole plethora of guys. Jonathan Ledger stays out, but Corey Mott gonna lead the field down pit road. Most likely for some damage repair. Yeah, Corey Mott with a lot of right front damage. I didn't even see that. Just like that. It's we have two cars out on track that were relatively unscathed. And Bill informed me that there is NASCAR overtime. That's good. Jonathan Ledger, Hudson Sangster, the two trucks to get out of there. Damage free, at least in that incident. Obviously, both those trucks still have quite a bit of damage left. But Hayden Higginbottom gonna get the first one out of pit road, followed by Corey Mott. Here comes James at number 91, followed by Ryan Taft. Jim Mott, the 44 of Ted, Zach Johnson, and Joe Gibbons still in there trying to fix some damage. And Zach Johnson, man, we talked about it earlier. You know, led a 30-plus laps here with a very tore-up racetrack. Now he's going to have to fight his way back up here with the green-white checker. Not a lot of time to get back up to the front. But his 33 has been quick. He's been really decisive of where he wants to put that machine. So I'm not going to say it's a race over for that 33. But he's definitely going to have to work hard to get himself back up there to in a position to race for this race win. Obviously, not a lot of trucks left in this race. So Dak will come out P7. So third on the bottom. So he can make some moves, spice some things up. It's definitely not over for him yet. But with that all said and done, I mean, we are going to have our first green white checkered attempt. And for people at home who aren't really informed on how these is going to work, so we will go green. If we get to the white flag, it's race back to the line. That's how iRacing works. But if we do wreck before we get to the white, we will restock everybody, restack everybody back up, and we'll go again. I'm unsure of how many overtimes we have, but until we get to the white flag or until we run out of overtimes finishes, we'll continue to keep doing this. But the second that the leader crosses the line to hit that white flag and we get a wreck, it's just going to be survival of the fittest. Whoever can get there first wins that race. So it's going to be interesting to see. Single file restart here. I'm interested to see, like, if people are going to be willing to maybe try to, like, back up and jump the start. I don't know how strict that the Crown Jewel admins and the committee are going to be about laying back to try to jump the start. But we'll see here. Coming in at 3 and 4. Pace car's going to hopefully hook a hard left turn for the last time. And Hudson Sangster, Jonathan Ledger, and Hayden Higginbottom going to lead us back to green for NASCAR overtime here at Daytona. You see the 103, 903 already trying to break the draft of that 98. Not sure how well that's going to work for him, but Ledger trying to back up a run. We know that Hudson is going to block here. Hudson going to block the 98. Oh, the 99 is going to get hooked. Saves it. No, the 1's going to go around. Caution waves once again. And we'll continue to go at this. Take a look at Corey Mott. Corey. Ah, man, that's a tough call. Really tough call. Corey Mott disqualified. So I think there is an incident limit here. I mean, that's not on. I don't really think that's on Corey there, honestly. He clearly went up there to make a move and got hooked by Ryan. Really. That's a bummer, right? Had a good race at Charlotte. Not even going to be able to finish the season opener here at Daytona. That's a shame for Corey. I know he works his tail off, you know, as the league owner and stuff like that to make sure all this stuff goes right. And it's a shame. He ran not he ran 100. He ran all 100 laps just to get wrecked in overtime and get disqualified. So now the 3 Griswold and Corey Mott in the 99 disqualified. Now we have the same top 3 that we did that last green white checkered. Hudson. About to say, there's no need to come down pit road now. Like I was saying, Hudson, Jonathan Ledger, Aiden Higginbottom, same top 3 that we had before. James Hebert now up to P4, up 13 positions from where he started. Same thing with Hayden. Joe Gibbons back there in the 8th place. 6th place of Ryan Taff in that 6 machine. Zach Johnson, Jim Mott, and Ted Lisby is going to be the people who round out the rest of the field. There's no one else left. So 9 cars left here to round out the rest of the field here in the battle it out here for this win for the season opener for the Legacy Sportsman Trucks Series at Daytona. And right there, that really showed us what can happen on these restarts. I mean, we're going single file, and Hudson has the jump, right? Well, you saw him. He even tried to break the draft on the go, and obviously, when you're at Daytona and you're on a restart, you're not gonna be able to break the draft enough to run away from the pack, right? So it's gonna be interesting. You know, I feel like Jonathan Ledger, the 88, maybe even the 921 is in a really good shot to go up, maybe get a run and potentially race for this win. Really, anybody in this top 9 can go up there and win and race here if they set up the runs correctly, put themselves in the right spot, right? It's gonna be interesting. I'm sorry to hear about that, Corey. You seen Corey in our chat. The 4 incidents that weren't my fault, but that's just how she goes at Daytona, man. That's exactly how it goes. But once again, hello to everybody in chat, everybody over on Twitch and on YouTube. Everybody who doesn't know, you know, we do multi-stream onto the YouTube and onto twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. So, once again, thank you guys for sticking it out here with this NASCAR overtime. I feel like it's going to be an exciting finish again. We saw it. People being aggressive here in this overtime, and I don't see the aggression coming down at all. You're going to see guys being aggressive, trying to set up their moves, right? They have 2 laps to try to get around this 903. So, and we saw Hudson, even on that overtime start, is going to be aggressive with blocking and tried to make that truck as wide as he can. But here we go. Second green white checker attempt. Second attempt at overtime here for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. Hudson Singster gonna lead us back to green. The 903 once again trying to break the draft. Here comes the 88 on the top. He's going to try to make something happen here. No help, though. No one wanting to go up to the top with that 88 machine. But here comes Ledger. He's going to come up and help that 88. '88 clear. If he wants it down below, he's going to take it. I don't think he's going to push that 88 out to the front. The 98 of Ledger going to lead the top as you see him blinking. Not what you want to see in a leader of a lane. Coming to the white flag. White flag. 1 to go here from Daytona. The 88 of Higginbottom getting pushed out by the 903, but the 903 is not clear. Does Ledger have something for them? He's going to need some help. Is Ledger is going to get into the side of someone? Race ender for him, but that's going to leave a 1v1 between the 88 and the 903. The 8 of Joe Gibbons going to give a shot to the 903, maybe. Is the 903 is going to dump the 88? Side by side photo finish at the line. Give it to Joe Gibbons. Wow. What a finish. Another photo finish for this series. Back-to-back photo finishes. Last week at Charlotte between Nathan Jump and Corey Mott. And this week, a photo finish between Joe Gibbons and Hudson Sangster. What a finish. What a final couple laps. Wow. Joe Gibbons going to win your opener here at Daytona. You see Ryan Taft going and giving his friend a little congratulatory tap. Wow. Did it say do this burnout's brought to you by TH Designs? We'll definitely have to go back and watch what happened on that last lap. The 903. That's insane. So giving him a little congratulatory bump as well. I mean, what a move to get him in that position to get on the outside of that 903 to have a drag race at the line, and he just barely edges out Hudson Sangster. And you want to hear something crazy? That 8 won by 12 100ths of a second. The exact same margin of victory that Nathan Jump did last week at Charlotte. You see him park it down there. We're going to go back and take a look at what happened on this last lap. Jonathan Ledger. Maybe he gets a bad bump from the 30. Yeah, it looks like it's a bad bump from the 33. He's going to go off. Now leaves Higginbottom out to the lead here, going to the white flag. No, going to the line, my apologies. 903 gets a huge run. And just, frankly, dumps the 88. But here comes the 8 machine with a run. And gets him at the line. I mean, that's unbelievable. But we'll go back to Joe Gibbons. Continuing to celebrate here. And we'll go through your unofficial race results here. Brought to you by High Velocity TV. Joe Gibbons victorious here at Daytona. Hudson Sangster P2. 12 100ths behind. Hayden Higginbottom comes out and rounds out your top 3, so we'll be talking to him. Ryan Taft, P4. Jonathan Ledger, top 5 run for him. Good run for him. Zach Johnson, P6. James Hebert, P7. Ted Lisby, P8. Jim Mott, P9. And Son Corey out early. Gonna round out your top 10. P11. Garth Griswold, also DQ'd midway through the race. P12. William Martin. Noah Hunt. Nate in that 7 machine, P14. Lee Hamby, P15. Another heartbreak for him. Cody Simmons, P16. 17th, the Michael Deitch. P18, the Jay Salmon. And Bob Baker's going to round out your field here. But we'll get ready to talk to your top 3 after we take a quick commercial break, get everybody into the interview room, and get ready to go. So we'll take a quick, short break and let our partners over at iRacing talk to you guys for just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway here for the post show for the Sportsman Legacy Trucks Series here once again at Daytona International Speedway here for the Daytona 250, the season opener here for the Legacy Sportsman Truck Series as we get ready to talk to your top 3 here from Daytona. We will get ready to talk to your 3rd place finisher if we can grab him. Let's talk to your 3rd place finisher of Hayden. Think about him if he's in here. Do not see him in the VC. Well, we can skip him for now. Let's go ahead and talk to your P2 finisher, Hudson Sangster. Not number 903. Hey, Hudson, it's Christian up here in HPTV booth. Got a copy? Well, definitely an interesting race for you. You know, we're up there towards the front, kind of dominating that first, I would say 20, 25 laps there. And then, got caught up in some incidents, kind of worked your way back to the back, and you kind of sat there for a decent amount of time. Looked like you're maybe just trying to fill out the field, trying to keep that truck clean, and then obviously we got those those overtime finishes where you were leading the field to the green there, and calamity on the last lap, but fortunately just not quite there enough to secure this one. But walk us through your race, walk us through maybe what you could have done differently to maybe park that truck in victory lane tonight.
And I just didn't. I don't know. I had 18X and 2 more X and I would get disqualified, so I had to be so careful at the end. Hence why I was hanging around the back. But my truck was destroyed. I think at that point all of our trucks were destroyed, and I had the fuel I needed, and just getting experience. Still being so new to all this Super Speedway stuff, I'm used to being the one leading. So I backed it off in turn 3. Going in turn 3, I backed it off. I didn't realize Joe was coming, or I kind of did, but I'm like, I got to go for it, right? I go for the move on Hayden. He kind of blocks a little bit, and I should have gone a little bit higher, and that would have covered Joe off. And then I tried side drafting him, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, we saw the run. I mean, Joe just had such a run. And it looked like maybe just from the contact between you and the 88, it just kind of stopped your momentum a little bit, allowed Joe to get to your outside, and once again a photo finish. You guys tie for the last week with the preseason. You guys actually exact same margin of victory from the preseason race, so pretty cool to see. But coming into here at Daytona, things can happen, calamity can happen, and you can be out of this race early. So, considering the circumstances, coming in here with the P2, looking at the future at the points, right? Maybe looking at the schedule, is there any other tracks that you're maybe looking forward to? Obviously, I know not a lot of people are used to driving these older style, legacy pickup cup trucks. Is there maybe a track you have circled on the schedule?
I'm not really too sure, to be honest. To be totally honest, I don't know if I'm riding the whole season. I'm not really too focused on that. I'm just having fun. This is all fun, and I need to check the schedule. What's the next race?
Honestly, I'm almost as clueless as you are, but
I don't remember. I don't know. We'll see what I come up with. I might race here and there. I don't plan on running a whole season, honestly, but we'll see what we got. I'm just happy to have Sanctor Chase on the hood. Awesome Instagram account for all your science-based weather needs. Desmond Designs, he made awesome scheme for me, and obviously Call of Duty Racing, making the truck. It was nice and fast, even though it got a little scraped up in the end, but just having fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing you can do sometimes when you come out here at Daytona. But once again, congratulations on this P2 finish, and hopefully we can talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Yeah, you too, man. That was your P2 finisher, Hudson Sangster, and we're going to go ahead and talk to the man at the hour. Joe, do you got me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, an up and down race for you. Clearly, I think it was an up and down race for everybody, but we had those couple of green white checkers. You were back there, I think, in P4, P5-ish area, and looks like kind of just the field imploded. Once we got to the white there, it looks like Ledger maybe got some contact from the 33, and it just allowed you to get through that wreck and put yourself through there. But walk us through your race in general, and walk us through how you managed to get through that wreck and put yourself in that position to win.
Well, yeah, it was a fun race. It's bumpy Daytona, so you just got to be patient. It's one of my favorite tracks to run, actually. So, truck handled real good. And I know with I was up front for a little bit, and I think with about 10 to go, I got caught up in some some stuff there, which happens here in plate tracks. But honestly, didn't know what I had for a truck as far as with those green white checkers. I didn't know if I can hang on to the draft or not. So we had there was another caution right after that first green white checkered. So um, I had a decent feel for the truck, but still in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't want to get in the way if I can't keep up with everybody. But the seas kind of parted for me, and I was behind. I was behind somebody. Sorry, I think it was Hudson, I believe, and I just drafted with him. And then you gotta be patient here. You can't go too soon. So I waited till out of 4. And if I told him, we were just talking, man, if I get second, after what happened with the last like 10 laps, I'd be happy. But still kind of in shock that it played out in my favor here. But I had a strong truck. Just like I said, got caught up in some stuff there with 10 to go. And yeah, it was eventful for sure. Hopefully it was entertaining watching.
It was definitely an entertaining race to watch. I mean, it's kind of hard to put on a bad race at Daytona with everybody all up on each other, and especially coming to the end where we had those overtime restarts and stuff where everybody's going to be hyper aggressive to get themselves up to the front. But looking at the broad spectrum of the points and running in here, obviously winning at Daytona is kind of the best thing you can do when it comes to starting off your season here. But looking forward into the rest of the season, is there any track or discipline that you're really looking forward to with this kind of I would say odd truck? A lot of series, a lot of people don't really race this truck a whole lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Definitely going to put in some practice time with this truck. It's one of those trucks where if they're racing at Talladega or Daytona, I'll hop in. So I don't have a lot of wheel time with this truck in particular. But I'm looking forward to like Old Atlanta and Texas. Those are really fun tracks. I think with this truck and setup combo, it's going to be really interesting. You got to be really disciplined with your tire wear and whatnot. So looking forward to those tracks for sure. I like Richmond a lot. So I don't know if we run Richmond or not. So I'll have to wait and see on that one. But I'm looking forward to like Old Texas, Old Atlanta. I think some other tracks in there too, but definitely need to put in some more practice time with this truck, get more comfortable with it, and hopefully I can talk to you again. Hopefully be consistent, get some more wins, some top threes or something. But looking forward to the season for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do as well. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank for this win? Any sponsors, friends, family watching home? Really, anybody like to thank for your win here at Daytona?
Yeah, for sure. Like, thank you for being in the booth calling the race. And I got friends and family that have been waiting for me to win, that have been patient and watching me. This is only my second win in this league, and my first win, I wasn't really sharing the stream because I'm like, I don't know how good I'm going to do here. And that's kind of grown to I send it to everyone I can. So I appreciate my friends and family watching, being patient with me. Finally got a win with them watching watching me race, so that's a good feeling. But yeah, thank you and thank everyone watching tonight. Hope we can put on a good show the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree too. Hopefully, you guys can continue to keep up the good work. Obviously, a photo finish last week, photo finish this week. If we keep this up, it's gonna turn into some really good racing.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, it should be interesting for sure the rest of the season. So
Yeah. Well,
look
I'm
forward
gonna.
to it.
I definitely do too. But I'm gonna drag you out to go celebrate your win, get ready for next week. But hopefully, we can talk to you soon. Maybe in Victory Lane once again.
Yep, sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good rest of the night.
Yep, you too.
That was your race winner, Joe Gibbons, capturing the checkered flag here in the season opener here at Daytona. I mean, there's nothing better than that. So, but with that and said and done, we're gonna go ahead and start to wrap up your stream here from Daytona. Once again, you were watching the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series here at Daytona International Speedway for your series opener here for the Daytona 250. My name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator. I appreciate everybody for coming out, whether you're watching on Twitch, whether you're watching on YouTube. I really do appreciate all the love and support, and it really means a lot. Obviously, we're a small and growing network and are trying to get everything you want. Once again, a huge shout out to TH Designs for sponsoring the series for these first 2 races. Hopefully, they can be, maybe they'll be willing to come back on and help out the league in that way. But if you guys are interested in sponsoring the Legacy Truck Series or any series with the Crown Jewel community, down in the description below, I do have the Discord link to the Discord for the Crown Jewel guys. Also down below, if you guys want to join the HVTV family, whether if you're interested in wanting something broadcasted or if you're just interested in broadcasting in general, feel free to join the Discord and join the family, whether it's just a hangout or if you're interested in being up in the booth or being a producer or taking photos or just working for the network in general, right? It's a good side hustle or just a good life skill thing that you can have. But also, I do have TH Designs Twitter down there, so if you guys want to go check him out, be sure to do that too. Also, go check out our networks partner with Delta Eagle Designs. Go check him out. I believe I do have him down there in the description down below. But besides that, guys, thank you guys so much for coming out, watching the stream. For people over on Twitch, if you guys would stick around, we are going to rate out Trevor Perry. It looks like he's doing some IndyCar at Road America, so go over there and say hi to him. But besides that, everybody else, if you're on the YouTube side, please hit that thumbs up, please hit that subscribe button, and please please share the broadcast with friends and family. The more eyeballs we can get on this, the more we can grow, the better the product we can deliver to you guys and make it more entertaining for you guys. But besides that, guys, once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator, and you have been watching a High Velocity TV production. Have a great rest of the night, everybody, and we'll see you guys soon.